welcome to my channel Knitting Books etc. My name is Cristina and I'm coming to you from Lisbon, Portugal. So I haven't been filming lately because I'm a little bit overwhelmed with everything I want to talk about. This is a bit stupid because I really have lots of stuff to talk about, and because of that I feel a little bit overwhelmed and stuck and just don't do it. So today, because it's a Friday evening and I intend to watch Noah's Live, which here in Lisbon is at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I am a morning person, so it's going to be a long night, and because of that I have some time. So the light is not the best, I am not in my favorite place to record, but I thought that I would record some stuff and to see if I get back in this booktube things. So as always I start coughing. First, I'd like you in this video to talk about what I read in May, because I haven't talked about that. So what I'm going to do is look at the titles in my Goodreads account and see what I finished in May. So the first thing I finished in May was the Brothers Karamazov, and it took me a long time to read it, and the reason was that I was reading tons of things at the same time, as always. So I felt that I need more time again to reread this book. And what I felt also is that it's one of those books that from time to time you will reread. So I liked the book a lot, but again I felt that it was a very superficial reading, because I was at a certain time I wanted to finish it. That's what it was. So, but it's a very good book and I would recommend it. Then I read Silas Marner, which is part of the read-along organized by Kim from middle of the book March, and it's a read-along of George Eliot books. So I had read already Adam Bede before, so we read Adam Bede before, and in May it was Silas Marner. It was a kind of a sweet book, and again, village life, and the customs of a village. One of the things I found interesting is that Silas Marner is a weaver, and because I like textiles and crafts related to textiles, it was something that appealed to me a lot. So I liked it a lot. I think that I prefer Adam Bede, but I like this one a lot too. Then, as always, I really like to make plans, and I plan my reading, and I normally never follow my plans because there are other things that happen in the middle of the thing. So one of the events in BookTube that I found so interesting, and it's my first time participating, is it was the Maybe Midrash, where people read books fiction and non-fiction related to some kind of spirituality or even religion, etc. And I remember that now I don't remember what my plans were, although I have them somewhere, but it's not important. What's important is that because of what other people were reading and buddy reads and read-alongs, etc., I ended up changing everything. So I read two books here that were they were not expected reading, but I read them because of the other buddy reads and read-alongs. So I read C.S. Lewis' The Abolition of Man and The Great Divorce. I loved The Great Divorce a lot. It's a kind of, it reminds me a bit of the Divina Commedia that I'm reading, of course in a different level, but it's a little bit about what is hell, what is heaven, and so on. The Abolition of Man, it's a more, I don't know if I wasn't in the frame of mind of reading it, and I read it because of another book, a fiction book I'll talk about in a minute, but I listened to the audiobook 3 times and still I cannot tell you, I cannot, for example, summarize the ideas. So I need to get back to this book and slow reading it. Okay, so these 2 C.S. Lewis books. Then again, why don't I follow the plans? I see plans as tendencies, things that I'd like to do, but then there's some buddy read that may appear, or the mood reading thing. So I had a book in my TBR for a long time, which was Passing by Nella Larsen. I remember, I think that it was, I don't know, last year in September or something, that Katie from Books and Things talked about this book, and I had it in my TBR and I finally read it. I thought it would be more interesting because everyone talked about the book and how it was so interesting and it had an amazing twist in the end and so on and so forth. I didn't find it so... I liked it. It was an okay book, but fast read. I don't regret reading it. Again, it is an okay book, but nothing special for me. Then I read the 3rd book of the Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis, and because I was participating in this read-along organized by Victoria, a Musical Bookworm, that's why, because everyone said that reading The Abolition of Man would make things more clear about this book. I don't know if if it did, because again I need to reread The Abolition of Man, but I finished. I liked. Some people felt it was very strange because this 3rd book was very different from books 1 and 2, but I liked it and it was fun. It made you think, and it was surprising as how different it was from the other 2, but nevertheless I liked it. I wrote I'm looking at my phone and I can see some snippets of what I wrote about the books, and I wrote that it was theology plus LSD, so it is kind of hallucinating if you want, but it was interesting. Then I read, I think, my favorite book of the month, books that I finished in May, and it was The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Brontë. And I really liked this book. I was constantly amazed of how modern and Brontë was. She died so young, but she is a modern writer, no doubt. And it's again, of course, the main character is a woman, a very strong woman, and all the I cannot I'm trying to explain without telling anything about the book, but I must say that I was amazed by the book. I enjoyed it a lot, but the discussions about women, their roles, what they want in life, how they deal with how society treats women, and so on and so forth. All of this in one novel, very well done. Liked it a lot. I gave it 5 stars. Then I read a book which I wasn't expecting to read, and I'll explain why. It was a graphic novel called In by Will McPhail. And this was a kind of a surprise. Why? I remember that I was watching some months ago Steve Donahue, and he mentioned this book that was still going to be released in the future, and he must have told something that got me interested, and I pre-ordered the digital book and forgot about it. So the book appeared in my library and in my Kindle library, and I read it. Again, can't remember anything about it, because that very often happens with graphic novels with me. Either they have a very strong impact, or I just like to read them, and I do it normally quite quickly, and then I forget them. So that's what it happened. Then another favorite was Dr. Thorne, which is the 3rd book in the 6-book series by Anthony Trollope, which is called The Chronicles of Barsetshire, and this is the 3rd book that I read. I now read already the 4th, but that was in June, so I'll talk about it in another video. Again, I'm so grateful for Victober, because it was last Victober, that brought me to BookTube, and also to try some authors that I hadn't tried before. Anthony Trollope was one of them, and I really like him. I think he's very funny. I like the dialogue he has with the reader, his snarky comments about what he's writing about, and it's funny and very entertaining. I like the series because something that I notice about me is that I enjoy spending time with characters, and so one of the things I like, even for example, I noticed with romance novels, I normally read them not because of the romance itself, but because I read them when they are part of a series where there are other characters from books before that we know, because I like to revisit characters as if they were friends, and I also like the interaction between characters I think that one of the things I like the most is friendship and the relationship between the characters that are friends. So, for example, in romance novels, that's what I appreciate the most. That's why I like to read series. And that leads me to the other two books I read. I don't remember the name of the channel that mentioned this. I know that Kate Howe several times talked about these two books, but then more recently I watched a video where someone, and I will then see if I can remember in which video, they mentioned the book, this book, and it was a romance novel called Her Caprice by Keira Dominguez, and then I saw that it was a trilogy, and one of the books in the trilogy was it was in one of those daily deals by Kindle books, so I ended up buying the 3 books, and I read the 2 first books in the same day. Well, no, in 2 days. So one of them I read in a day, and then I read the second one, started in the same day and read and finished it in the following day. I know that I started the third, and then my interest I think vanished, and I'm still stuck somewhere in the middle of the third book. I'm going to finish it, but it's not urgent. So the names are Her Caprice and The Telling Touch. It's a very light romance novel with some magic in it. Then another 5-star read for me was Our Mutual Friend. It was a book that took me a long time to finish too. Again, very large book, very good book. Well, we see London society from new rich, old rich, poor, miserable people, good people, bad people, as always in Dickens, lots and lots of characters, but so well. He knew how to build characters, I think, and so I love the book. Some of the characters are amazing, and I want to read more of Dickens, but I will be talking about that later. Then I finished another romance novel. Again, this one was called Dare to be Brazen, Daring Daughters number 2. So, this is how they get to me. It was a series of 12 or 13 books, and now it's the continuation or a spin-off of that series with the sons and daughters of the characters of the series before. Again, what I like, to revisit characters. It's very light, very, if you want, 3-star series that, okay, I read it and forget it, because it's nothing substantial, but it's entertaining. So pure entertainment. And finally, I think, yes, this was the last book I finished, and I finished it on the 31st of May, was a read-along, the book form that I read for the Maybe Wind Rush as a read-along, which was Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. There was a group of booktubers that I think they had 3 or 4, I think 4 perhaps, weekly live shows discussing this book. So they discuss it in parts, and I tried to watch those lives, and try to read the book, read it along with them, which I managed to, and I enjoyed a lot, much more than I thought. Funny that I think that I had tried before to read this book, and maybe it wasn't the time for me, and I remember that I didn't finish it, and this time I found it very easy to read and to follow, and also perhaps because I wanted to watch the live shows, it kept my reading pace, and I managed to finish it. So these were the books I read in May. So I was trying to see what type of books. I forgot to, but I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which are considered, if you want, classics, then fiction. Then I read 1 science fiction by C.S. Lewis, 1 graphic novel, 1, 2, 3 romance novels, and 1, 2, 3 Mere Christianity and The Abolition of Man are non-fiction. The other one, The Great Divorce, it's fictionalized. So it was an interesting month. So we are already in the 25th of June. So there's lots of other stuff I read meanwhile, but I will talk about that in another video. I hope everyone is okay, and I'll see you next time.